Doing here in chapter 9. Now we are going to use trigonometry to solve triangles, particularly for the angles. So when we look at using trig, anytime we want to find an angle, we are going to use the arc sign, which is symboled there, or the cosine, arc cosine, or the arc tangent. Now, those are different than when we find sides. When we find the side measurements, that's when we use sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so those are both functional inverses of each other. And we use the arc sine, arc cosine, arc tangent to find the angles. The way that you get to those is typically on most calculators, you're going to have to push the second button first, then say your sine button. And your screen should then say sine to the -1, and it will have a parenthesis. So that's what we're going to use. Now, when we look for an angle, the key here is still what trig ratio do I have? So the first thing you have to determine is what trig ratio you have. So here's my theta. So 12 would be the adjacent. 14 would be the hypotenuse. So this is going to give us cosine. So what I'm going to do is go cosine of theta is equal to 12 over 14. Now to solve for the angle, I'm going to take the arc cosine of my ratio 12/14. Then we take that, and now we're going to approximate that. So second cosine 12 divide 14. And that's going to give me a 31.0 degree angle. Okay, likewise here on the second one, here's my theta. This would be the opposite leg. 17 is the hypotenuse. So that would get me a sine relationship. So the sine of theta is equal to 8/17. So theta is equal to the arc sine of 8/17. So theta is approximately 28.1 degrees. Okay, let's continue on. Let's try another one here. So if we look here, the 19 squared to 19, that's my opposite. That would make the 32 my adjacent, which is going to give us a tangent relationship. And so now to find that angle, we take the arc tangent of 19 squared to 19 over 32, which then we take that, punch that in, 19 second square root of 19. Make sure you close that parenthesis, divided by 32, and that's going to get us 68.9 degrees approximately. And on our last one here, we're going to start off. This is our adjacent side. This is our hypotenuse. So at this point, that is going to be cosine of theta is equal to 50 over 71 square root of 3. So theta then is equal to the arc cosine of 50 divided by 71 square root of 3. Now, when you enter that, you are going to need to put groupings around that denominator. So make sure you do that. So what I do is I go second cosine, I go 50, divide, parenthesis, 71, second square root of 3, close all of your parentheses, and you should end up with an angle of 66.0 degrees. Approximately. So about 66 degrees. And that's how we solve for an angle using our trig ratios.